listening to Talk AEW, the official wrestling podcast of GoombaStomp.com and TiltMagazine.net. I'm your co-host, Mariko McDonald, joined as always by my co-host, Mr. Aaron Santos.
Hello, WrestleManiacs.
And of course, the ravishing Ricky D.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. What's up, guys? What you drinking this morning?
Coffee.
Diet root beer.
The only thing I'm drinking these days is blood.
Oh my gosh.
Did he go to rehab and become a vampire? Because he seriously looks like 10 years younger. Is that the secret?
Yeah. Mm.
Just give up booze, start drinking blood? I mean, it's working for him.
He looks really good.
Yeah, he looks amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And the first question on the podcast is John Moxley a vampire?
Signs point to yes.
I mean, when you give up a vice, usually you tend to pick up something else to replace that sort of like
I'm
vice.
thinking he replaced it with working out because the dude seriously lost like 40
Mhm.
pounds. And I
Yeah.
understand a lot of that is going to be like water weight and empty calories from the booze.
Mm-hmm.
Because like whenever my husband stops drinking beer, he drops like 20 pounds right away. It's ridiculous.
Hey, did you know that if you do a lot of cardio, you're not going to burn fat? You're not going to lose weight, apparently.
If you do a lot of cardio?
Yeah, it's like this big thing that's blowing up on TikTok, and they're explaining how cardio is not enough, and you got to do like different things.
Well, yeah, you have to have the muscle mass to burn the calories when you're doing the cardio. So it's like a whole complicated thing. You can't just do one thing and expect results.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So what are we doing today for our main event?
We are going to be talking about mixed tag matches. Because we had our very, very, very first one on Dynamite.
No.
Right. We had a mixed tag. We've had Cody...
But it wasn't on TV.
Was
it on TV?
Yes, it was Shaq.
The big Shaq attack with Jade.
Oh, goodness. I had forgotten about that one. You're totally right. That was the first mixed tag match on TV. You're totally right.
Yeah. I mean, still, it's a good topic. I mean, I think we're going to see more.
We'd love to see more. I mean, I think that's the purpose of the topic.
See more.
Yeah.
And there's even a few like freelancers or like free agents that I think would be really fun to bring them in to do mixed tag matches, but we'll talk about that more later. First, I believe Ricky has some questions.
All right, so I'm going to name off a few things that I just don't really like about AEW, and you can feel free to agree or disagree. Number one, I really hate it when Sammy, who's one of my favorite wrestlers, he always sticks out his tongue.
But he always does that. I don't know. You just kind of get used to it.
The heat is the reason he does it.
Yeah, but he's not a heel anymore. He's not a heel anymore. And so, like,
I think old habits die hard.
I know it needs to die. Like, look, I think Sammy's a really good looking dude. He's got charisma. He's one of my favorite wrestlers. He's great in the ring, etc., etc., etc. But every time he sticks out his tongue, I just do not want to be his fan anymore.
I don't know. I'm just used. I think it's just a nice. It's a cheeky act. I mean,
yeah. It's not my favorite thing. Even when Sky Blue does it, I'm like, meh.
Yeah, but Tay Conti does it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but by the way, he doesn't just do it when he's wrestling or in the ring. He does it all the time in his vlog.
His action figure has it. It's part of his shtick.
Even when he takes like a photo, like he was taking a photo with his family and he's sticking out his tongue.
Yeah, that's part of his. It's part of his gimmick.
Yeah, but he looks better without the tongue sticking out.
I'm not gonna disagree with you there.
Okay, something else I don't like about AEW: every single week there's a table spot.
I mean,
that doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me.
It was kind of funny last night on Rampage when the table just collapsed without any impact. It was like he put Ethan Page on the table and just like beat him, and then like the table just like broke. It was like, oh, maybe we gimmicked that a little too hard.
Yeah,
or like I was like, oh, is that supposed to be a gimmick table for later? And they like fucked up.
Yeah. It's like our only gimmick table and they ruined it. Crap, what are we gonna do?
That's literally what I thought.
Okay, so like on Dynamite, Britt Baker went through the table. It wasn't the greatest table spot, but it was great because it continues the story. There's a reason for Adam Cole to still want to beat or wrestle Orange Cassidy because he's already beaten him like what, twice? But now he has like the revenge. He needs to revenge his girlfriend. She went through the table. So it beautifully sets up the lights out match. But I feel like it just happens every single week. And sometimes it happens like twice in like one show. Two more things. I really do not like Dan Lambert's gimmick because I feel like every time Dan Lambert comes out and he does this little like promo, he's basically reciting everything that Jim Cornette said on his podcast. So like last time when he started talking about how Adam Cole is not really a cowboy, that's exactly what, I mean, it wasn't Jim Cornette that said it. Jim Cornette was reading an email from a fan that was sent to him about how he's a cowboy and he doesn't buy into the shtick that Paige is a cowboy. And anyhow, every time he says something, he's basically reciting what was said on the Jim Cornette podcast. And also, it's just really annoying, and I'm not entirely sure what his deal is, because they introduced Dan Lambert so he could introduce a bunch of, like, UFC fighters, and then he
disappeared, and now he's paired up with Men of the Year, but he's also working with Lance Archer, but we don't know how or why. It's getting confusing, and it's like, okay, is he in a feud with Cody? Okay, no. Okay, they're doing the TNT. Like, I get that they've had to shuffle a lot of shit around just because of Omicron, taking people out, you know, a week or two here and there, but at the same time, it's just gotten confusing.
I don't know, Aaron, like, what do you think? Like, I mean, he's got Jake the Snake, Lance Archer, who, by the way, comes back after taking some time off, but now he's stuck with Dan Lambert, who doesn't really seem like his manager because he doesn't even seem to like the guy.
Well, and when asked directly what was going on, we got a complete non-answer, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like, for me, it's like it's starting to wear thin, this whole gimmick. I mean, like, I thought the culmination of Dan Lambert's appearance was really like with the UFC fighters, but now we're just like shuffling him around with like it's like
the whole feud with Cody could work, but he's doing a TNT title feud, so okay, whatever.
Well, now he's like in the championship picture with Lance Archer, so it's like, I don't know. Like, as far as like the Jim Cornette thing, I mean, like, it's been his shtick since day one. You know, it's always been like trying to emulate Jim Cornette's sentiments on the podcast into AEW. So
I know, but the thing is that when he started and he was coming out and he was cutting his promos, like, they weren't bad. They were actually kind of good because he was kind of, you know, the things he was saying were kind of like true to some extent.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you, like, nowadays, like I remember when he first came out, a lot of people were like, okay, he's doing good, but it feels fake.
Right.
Well, like he's trying too hard to be Jim Cornette.
Because at this point, it's like the bit has been going on for too long, so it's just probably overstaying its welcome.
Yeah, and also, like, shuffling him around to all different people, like, okay, it kind of made sense he was introducing these MMA people, but okay, that's not really a thing. Okay, so he's with Men of the Year, kind of, you can stretch it. Like, I don't see it, but whatever. But then now he's also working with Lance Archer, maybe, sort of. It's like, figure out what you're doing with him.
Right.
Because, like, the MMA stuff made sense. But having him working with established wrestlers and saying that established wrestling is crap makes no sense. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
And then lumping him with Lance Archer, who already has too many people talking for him, it's all confusing. It's not good. Like, figure it out, streamline it, and finish it.
It's weird because I'm trying to think back on a manager who would come out and cut a promo each and every single week and take up that much airtime, like TV time, who's not even a wrestler.
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like, he's not even a wrestler. You're putting heat on a guy who's never going to step into a wrestling ring. He's just a manager. And I get that he's maybe better on the microphone than most people there. And it made sense for him to be there if you're introducing like 8 UFC dudes. But like you said, it's confusing. And the last thing I'm going to say is that I guess the reason why it's bugging me now is because at the start, he was trying to be like a Jim Cornette character. Now he's legit just reading exactly what was said on Jim Cornette's podcast each and every single week. Like, dude, I listened to Cornette's podcast. I don't need what was said on the podcast to be recited on Dynamite. Yeah. So the last thing that really bugs me about AEW, and these are like, I mean, apart from Dan Lambert, these are kind of like minor nitpicks. Like I'm complaining because some guy sticks out his tongue, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
that's not even really an AEW thing. That's a Sammy Guevara thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. So the last thing that bugs me, and this is actually kind of like a big thing, so I think we're going to spend about 10 minutes talking about this. But I really like Cody Rhodes because like Cody Rhodes is great in the ring. He's one of the best in ring workers they have. He's a great wrestler. He's been in some of the best matches. I always point to his match with Dustin and his match with Wardlow in the steel cage, for example. I think he's one of the best on the microphone. But I'm just like really confused. I feel like a child who's watching their parents who are getting divorced fight, which is weird because Cody's like one person, but I kind of feel he's like two people because he stands in the ring and he cuts a promo, and a part of me feels really bad for him because the people are being so mean and they're booing him and telling him to fuck off, and you know he hasn't really done anything wrong per se.
Mm-hmm.
He's just tone deaf sometimes. And then he continues his promo, and you realize, like, yeah, this dude did start the company. He did do these great things. He did wrestle some of the best matches in AEW. But then he starts bringing up, like, everyone from CM Punk to the Young Bucks to, I don't know, Santa Claus, you name it. And it's like he's like, it's like he feels like the kid who his parents, and I'm pretty sure this is not true because we all know who his parents are,
Mm-hmm.
but his parents never patted him on the back or on the shoulder and said, hey, great job. And so he's always looking for someone to reassure him that he's doing a great job. And it felt like he's in the ring and he still refuses to turn heel, which, okay, is fine because I remember when John Cena refused to turn heel.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone continued to boo John Cena, and John Cena is still a star today. But it's just like, it feels like they're dragging this out, and they're never going to win over the crowd. And if they do, it's going to take forever. So why are you still addressing the problem in your promo? Because you're dragging it out, you're making it worse.
Hey, he got them to cheer him at the end. I don't understand how he did it. Because to me, it was like a full-on heel promo trying to take credit for everything. I mean, regardless of whether it's true or not, which it absolutely, like, he didn't say a word of a lie, but like, you can choose whether you're going to accept what he said at face value, or be like, this is a really heely thing to do, just kind of bragging on your shit, trying to take credit for everything, which I find it very interesting. Like, I'm more kind of fascinated by Cody and how all this is being handled and how it's going to end up playing out.
Well, I think we all are because we talk about it weekly. I think the question is it a good kind of fascination? Are we fascinated by what is kind of like a mess? Or is this a good thing? Like, are they actually telling a good story, or is this not a story?
No, they're not. We're just confused and we want answers.
Yeah.
So basically, it's not a story. It's not an angle. It's a problem, and he has to address it every week. And so I'm just saying, don't address it. Just move on. Cut a promo. Talk about Lance Archer. Talk about him, not CM Punk, and forget the crowd. Like, the crowd eventually is going to give up, and they're going to stop booing you. They're going to get exhausted. They're going to I feel like, because here's the thing, and Aaron, please cut in. I feel like I feel like they think that if Cody Rhodes goes into the ring, and let's say he just cuts a promo, and all he's addressing is the match between him and Lance Archer, and that's it, not what's going on with him and the crowd and people booing him and him turning heel or not turning heel, just Lance Archer, I think he's just not going to get a reaction. He might just get a boo reaction.
Yeah.
So like, he's feeding off of the crowd, but in the right way, and yet in the wrong way, because everyone wants the heat, but you're not a heel, so you shouldn't be even trying to get the heat. You should try to just get past this.
He's still getting the heat. Like, I know you said earlier about like how like Cody Rhodes is tone deaf. I don't believe that one bit. I feel like everything that he's been doing has been very well calculated.
No, I said sometimes what he says is tone deaf. I mean, his speech about what was it? The black baby, white baby
Oh
speech.
God, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
that's
he admits that was a bad look,
Yeah.
and he probably would do it differently if given another chance.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
I'm glad he admitted that. But like, yeah, they're like everything is well calculated, you know. Like it's just that they're like you said, like there's some things that we don't quite understand what he's doing, but I don't know.
But this speech, okay, so he talks about CM Punk, and I'm like, ooh, he's gonna set up a feud with Punk.
No,
not at all. Then he brings up Brody. He's like, ooh, he's gonna start a feud with
Brody
King
yeah.
because he had a feud with Malachi Black. No.
No.
And then I don't know, he mentioned like a gazillion people, right?
He mentions these people just to get the crowd cheering, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So it's again well calculated.
It was all just weird fan service. It went all over the place. I mean, I could follow the line through it, but god damn, we took a long time to get there. And I was watching Wrestling Observer, and they're like, "Oh, it's not like it was 20 minutes. It wasn't a long promo." I'm like, it felt forever.
Yeah.
We had John Moxley making his return after 3 months in, a recovery center, doing like a very quick 5-minute, right to the gut, emotional. That's all, and then Cody just like, oh my god, I've read like master's theses that were more coherent. Like it just goes everywhere. Also Wrestling Observer made a great graphic. Like it looks like it was the visual representation of that promo. And the visual presentation is basically like an emo girl's inspiration board. Like it's just like names of celebrities, some stuff that he did. It was just all over the place. And he's not a bad talker, but it's just like, we don't care. I don't care. I guess people were cheering and they liked it, but like
surprisingly, people are cheering. I think that's what surprised me the most is like how he managed to get people to cheer.
Yeah, I think that's the most fascinating thing out of all of this is that he does still somehow have the ability to like with those heavy boos. And just I guess just name dropping the right people at the right time, but
unless that's the strategy, is like just lull the audience to the point where they're like during a promo, and then at some point he's gonna bring out some interesting names and topics, and all of a sudden the crowd's gonna cheer. I mean, I don't know. He might have a strategy to it.
I don't think so. I mean, Cody is perhaps the best on the microphone in terms of his vocabulary, his language, the way he can articulate. He can be a politician. He can be an actor.
That's the other thing that promo made me think of is just the cadence of his speech and the way that he was using other people and their achievements as a storytelling tool. Like, it was a political speech.
Yes.
It wasn't a wrestling promo.
I think he got people to cheer to some extent. They weren't really cheering loud. They were kind of, a few people were cheering. But it's because I think they kind of felt bad because people were booing him. And he has achieved so much. And he did help bring the company to life.
I'm telling you, man. I am still waiting for that. It's all coming towards like a Homelander heel turn or something.
He's not doing it.
He's gotta do it. You're for heel
again. But that is why I started this question spot with why is he dragging it out if he insists that he's never going to turn heel?
I think that's the swerve.
No, I think he's going to do what Cena did. I mean, Cena, I'm not sure if it was John Cena's choice or Vince McMahon or I don't know, but I remember he was getting booed for like a year at least.
He was thanking the troops and everything, and they were still booing him. I was like, oh my God.
It was insane, yeah. Like, I am a huge fan of Cody Rhodes in AEW. He's like one of my favorites, but not when he's doing this because, okay, it's like when someone makes a movie, like a Marvel movie, and they make a choice like that bunch of people think is controversial, right? And so everyone complains, and there's like, you know, the toxic fan base on Twitter complaining. And that filmmaker goes and he or she feels the need to discuss why they did what they did and defend themselves. I'm like, no, you do not have to do that. It's your project. You got hired to direct the movie. You do whatever you want to do. Stop answering to the fan base, because the fan base is never going to be happy. I'll give you an example. There's someone who follows us on Twitter, and I'm sure he's a really nice person in real life, right? And he clearly loves AEW. But if you look at his Twitter timeline, it's negative tweet after negative tweet after negative tweet that I'm starting to think that the dude hate watches Dynamite, because he has only bad things to say. He never says anything positive or good. Like, he's always complaining about every single match. And I'm like, you're never going to make someone like that happy. So stop addressing the people who are not happy and just start putting on a good product again. Because I went back and I watched what I thought was the best Dynamite episode of year one. And it was the episode in which Cody Rhodes did the whole steel cage with Wardlow. The entire episode was amazing from start to finish. That episode of Dynamite was a million times better than what we got over the past few weeks, even though we have guys like Malachi Black and CM Punk and the American Dragon, et cetera, et cetera. So the roster is better, but I feel like over the past year, I feel like AEW kind of like lost a bit of what made AEW special at the beginning. And I feel like they're answering too much to guys like Jim Cornette, like their critics. And they give us these amazing matches. Granted, we get like an hour-long match between Paige and the American Dragon to kick off Dynamite, which is fantastic. But overall, the overall product of Dynamite, it isn't as special as it used to be, because before it was so different. And that's what I liked about it. Yeah, not all the wrestlers are great. A lot of them are green, but the storylines, what happened in the ring, outside the ring, backstage, like, remember the Stadium Stampede?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a perfect example of how weird the company was, that you had one of their wrestlers come out riding a horse chasing Sammy. Even like, you know, despite the fact that it was a mess, the Orange Cassidy Miro storyline, like, at least they tried to do something weird. And to be fair, the arcade match was a great match.
Yeah.
It was amazing. And so, like, I don't want to see just a traditional straight up amazing match every single week, and that's all we get is great match after great match. But where's all of the entertainment? Where's all the stuff that made AEW different? And Cody is doing exactly what I do not want them to do, and it's kind of like spend too much time focusing on the critics. Just do your thing. Just do your thing. Because Cody, you rock when you want to rock. Like, and it's okay for a wrestler to go into a slump. I mean, most wrestlers, I mean, Bret the Hitman Hart, Hulk Hogan, the guys who were like the top of the tops back in like the 90s and 80s, they got booed. I mean, even The Rock. I mean, at one point, like, The Rock had to go heel because people got sick of him.
Yeah.
Anyhow, the last question for the question block this week that everyone seems to be talking about is like Adam Cole. Like, I talked about this last week. So he's like the closest we've ever come to Shawn Michaels. And this week he was all 100% Shawn Michaels. Like, it was insane. Do you think that Adam Cole should maybe change his ring attire?
I don't think so. I mean, like,
what do you mean?
I'm just wondering if he should wear like long pants or different colors or something that like makes him shine or stand out a bit more.
I don't think so, just because Adam Cole is, yes, he definitely does draw inspiration from Shawn Michaels, but he's also drawn inspiration from Triple H. I mean, like, his entrance is a lot of like Triple H.
Yeah.
So he kind of like, I like that sort of like meld between the two. So
I saw this question on Twitter, and a bunch of people were responding to it. And basically, I forget who it was that tweeted it, but they were like, you know, do you think that Adam Cole could do something to make him look more like a superstar in terms of like his attire? Not, I mean, the guy's a superstar. Like, you know, he's amazing, but he's like, I think he's my favorite now. I don't know. I think it would be weird to see him in long pants.
Yeah, I don't want him in long boys. I don't want him in long boys. I did like that he had special gear made to match Brits in the black and red. I thought that was really cute.
Exactly. I think that's good enough. Like I like how he can just sort of like make these minor subtle tweaks to his trunks.
Mm-hmm.
Also, he's not a gigantic guy, so honestly, like putting pants on him would kind of cut him off.
Yeah, I feel like if he wore pants, he would look
like he would
shorter.
look smaller. I feel
yeah,
like
he would
in the
look
ring.
smaller.
Yeah, I remember when Punk came out wearing his pants and he was wrestling. Was it Darby? I think it was his first match, right?
Yeah.
Anyhow, I was like, it was weird. Like the actual pants looked cool and all, but it was just weird to see Punk in. And I know he used to wrestle that way, but not in a long time.
Mhm.
So that is what the internet has been talking about most when it came to AEW this past week. The biggest, hottest, most burning questions. And we've answered them for you. So we can move on now, internet.
All right. On that note, we are going to take a quick break. But first, a message from Grey Cat Apothecary. As you may know, Grey Cat Apothecary makes fantastic natural soaps and skincare. We just came out with a winter wine-inspired line made with real red and white wine. That's Grey Cat Apothecary, GREY.com.
It's time for the main event.
Reminded from that last match about a man who once sat on a stage just like that, looked in a ring just like this, and he gave one of the most important addresses in the history of our sport. It inspired thousands of would-be wrestlers. It mobilized literally millions of fans. It was the first hint of a revolution. I am talking about CM Punk and the pipe bomb. Someone told me to save this promo, but I honestly don't know if I'm gonna get the chance, so I'm gonna do it now. In that interview, that was the first whiff of a revolution. He laid out a roadmap. He listed things that for him, for somebody like me, were taboo at the time. Things like going to New Japan Pro Wrestling, working with Ring of Honor. And ultimately, he would talk about teaming with the Young Bucks. As destiny would have it, as fate would have it, he was unable to do those things, but he would join
And we're back on Talk AEW for the main event. Today, we are going to be talking about mixed tag matches. We had a fantastic match between the power couple Britt Baker and Adam Cole versus Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander. Started off with a lot of goofy fun, but turned into a real barn burner of a match at the end. Who else would we like to see fighting in a mixed tag match? Aaron.
If I go first, it's over.
Yeah,
it's
that's
over.
why I picked Aaron.
Mic drop.
Okay, fine. I feel like mine is too obvious though, because I would love to see Jungle Boy and Anna Jay.
Really?
Yeah.
Actually,
versus Britt Baker and Adam Cole, sure.
Yeah, or we could also have Sammy and Ty, and have like a TJ boys.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Rivalry. That would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that'd be.
We could also do all three tag teams in a triple threat tag team match.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, why not?
That Aaron, that's amazing. You just killed my pick. That's maybe the best pick, unless Mariko. Yeah, I don't know. That was an amazing pick. Like, holy shit! I never thought about it.
You didn't think of.
Yeah.
I mean, I even said it. I'm like, I feel like this is the obvious pick though, because like I don't know, Anna Jay and Tarzan boy, Jungle Boy.
I just came up with a really random pairing, but it kind of works because it's more about their style than like actually like compatibility. But I think it would be really funny or fun if Serena Deeb and Daniel Bryan teamed up.
Yes, that's my pick.
Yeah.
Oh man,
That's my pick. Okay, that is the deadliest pick.
Mhm.
You talk about
absolutely.
the woman with 1,000 holds and the American Dragon.
Yeah.
Come on, they would be undefeated.
100%. Yeah.
And another one I just thought about, and I think it's just like thematically they would, it just matches. It would be Darby Allin and Ruby Soho.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see it.
I
Actually, that's a really good pick too. Yeah.
I'm like I said, like thematically, I think they would like mesh together. I think their styles in the ring too, because like you got Darby Allin, like just this huge risk taker.
Yeah, and Ruby's all about like the drop kicks and the
Mhm.
flying at people. So
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely, I see a lot of synergy there.
Yeah.
I wonder if you were to team them up, right? Like, would you use her theme song, his song, mix it, or use a completely different song by, say, the Ramones?
Oh.
If you could do some kind of mashup with like the backbeat of
Mhm.
Ruby Soho and then like the lyrics of I Fell, I'd be down for that.
Dude, my mind is blown. I'm still thinking about this Anna Jay Jungle Boy tag team. That's incredible.
That's a very good looking tag team, which is why I want them to face off against Sammy and Ty.
Mhm.
We've already got like 6 amazing storylines for AEW to steal from our podcast. Like Jungle Boy versus Sammy, Anna versus Ty, best friends versus best friends. That's incredible. You can, and then you can have, like I said, Adam Cole and Britt Baker in the mix.
Yeah.
And then the whole Darby Allin and Ruby Soho is great.
Mhm.
I don't know who they would face, but I think that I do agree with Mariko that Bryan Danielson and Serena Deeb would be unstoppable. But I would choose Layla Hirsch and Miro versus them two. Can you imagine that?
I like it. I like it a lot. Yeah, there's
Oh
so
my
many
god.
fun.
Mind blown. When you pitched this idea yesterday, I'm like, I'm not gonna have much to say. I was like, I want to know what they're gonna say. And now that we're talking about it, I think this is the best thing AEW can do, because I just thought of another team. Let's bring back Kip Sabian and him and Penelope Ford versus Adam Cole and Britt Baker,
who were in the first AEW mixed tag match, which happened on a boat, which wasn't on TV. So yeah, so that's kind of a no-brainer. But
holy shit, this is such a great idea. You know what else? You can bring back Shaq, and he can have a rematch with Cody and Red Velvet, along with Jake.
Brandy, now that she's back wrestling.
Yeah,
it would probably be Brandy, if we're being honest.
Okay, that's good enough, because she never actually got her match because she got pregnant.
How would they bring Shaq back? How do you explain Shaq coming back after disappearing in the ambulance?
Well, that is why he comes back. They answer the big mystery: what happened to Shaq?
What happened to Shaq post ambulance?
Yeah, you know what you do. Okay, so like they refilm it, and they actually show what happened to Shaq.
Oh,
I don't know how they're going to explain it, because we saw Shaq go into the ambulance, right?
Yes.
And then what happened? He just like disappeared. I can't remember. They opened the door.
They opened the door and he was gone. That was a podcast a while ago where we were laughing about that. I was like, oh, where'd he go?
I want to rewatch that.
There are so many great film promos you could do to like fill in the blanks of all this. Like Shaq in rehab, Shaq on the run. Like
I would love to see Shaq on the run.
I also think that would be really funny.
I think Thunder Rosa can also pair with someone. I'm just trying to decide who I would want her to pair with, because
well, we're trying to think, right? Because like, well, we're picking these people, but we haven't picked exactly like who. Well, we have for a couple of wrestlers, but who to pick to pit them against.
I kind of like the idea of Thunder Rosa with like a big kind of hossy dude who can just like toss her up in the air like a cheerleader and have her land on people.
Ooh, Andrade would be a good one.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah.
I want him away from that Matt Hardy.
Yeah, dude. He needs to get away from Matt Hardy. Like the Malachi Black stuff was so confusing. Now this is happening. It's just like nobody wants this.
I honest to God think, and we talked about this last week, I think they're setting up the Hardy Boys versus Cassidy and Mark Quinn. Private Party. I swear to God, I think they're going to set it up, but I don't know why you needed Andrade to set up that storyline. Mm-hmm. When I saw Andrade team up with what is it called? The Hardy Hall of Fame?
Hardy Home Office? Hardy Family Office. HFO. Hardy Family Office.
I wanted to take my TV and throw it out the window. I was just like so disgusted. I like Matt Hardy, but that is like the worst angle ever in his entire career.
Yeah,
well, I've seen videos. He's done that too in Impact.
Okay, I got my last mixed tag team. Okay, nobody's gonna beat us. Jade Cargill with the wonderful Mr. Marco Stunt.
It's like the opposite of what I said with Thunder Rosa and Andrade.
Yeah.
She's gonna throw him around. Yeah. She's gonna like pick him up and
just,
I don't know, body slam him up.
Beat people with him like a battering ram,
dude. Yeah, I like that. I like that. But who would they be feuding against?
Yeah, Thunder Rosa and who did you say, Mariko? Andrade.
Man, that's a okay. I like that. So it's an interesting idea, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely kind of out there, but.
Well, I mean, you could like if you want to go smaller, you can take someone like Riho, right? She's small, and you pair her up with I don't know
Wardlow.
But you know what? I just thought of it now. Like the feud that would make a lot of sense, and is adding another like mixed tag to the mix. It would have to be Hikaru Shida with Kenny Omega against Serena Deeb and Daniel Bryanson.
Yeah, but I think Kenny Omega would prefer Riho.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
It's well documented that she's his choice when it comes to mixed tag matches.
But I do like that idea for a match. Like I think we've just basically set up 9 great matches for AEW in the future. I would also like to see like Nyla Rose and Sunny Kiss, which wouldn't be so popular, but it'd be cool.
That would be fun, yeah, for sure.
And okay, and I got one more. Abaddon and Malachi Black.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, man.
Why not?
I was just thinking that too. I'm like, I'd love to see. I'd like to put Abaddon in the conversation, but who can I put her with?
Well, this week when John Silver stepped up to Jade, I was like, I wouldn't mind seeing those two in the ring fighting. That was hilarious.
Yeah, the guns off. That was great. I don't know why, but just for one night, I want to see Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona fight Adam Cole and Britt Baker. I think that would be an amazing match, just based on the talent,
the chemistry.
Yeah. The other comment that I wanted to make was in the problem with mixed tag matches sometimes, and like the whole thing of like having actual like couples working together on TV as a couple, because we all know like what the worst case scenario looks like, because WWE gave it to us a couple years ago. But I am kind of afraid with Anna Jay and Jungle Boy that we're gonna get a like, are they hate each other, obviously. Like what do you mean they're a real couple? I don't know. Some people just have a hard time translating their chemistry on TV.
Well, it's good that they're keeping it professional, you know.
Would the storyline be better if Sammy teamed up with Anna Jay and Ty Conti teamed up with Jungle Boy? Because what happens backstage doesn't matter in the actual
exactly,
ring, right?
Exactly. Like that's the danger of pairing people up just because they're a couple in real life.
Like, what if Cody tag teamed with Jade instead of Brandy?
Yeah. That could be amazing.
That'd be interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Is she really going to come back to wrestling?
Yeah.
Brandy?
Yeah, she did some dark matches not too long ago. Yeah, and she's got new wrestling gear. Like she's like selling herself as a wrestler. That's how she wants to be seen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I really think it's really adorable that Jade's daughter is in the audience.
So cute, right up front. Yeah. I kind of felt bad for the people behind her because her dad was lifting her up, but that was the only way she could see anything. So
I feel like they're gonna make Jade a face very soon, because like you can't show her daughter on TV every week and expect people to like boo her or be against her. Like, she's no longer a heel. She's more of a face than Britt Baker, and Britt Baker is like super popular.
I mean, even now, like you said, like even now she's still getting cheers despite the fact that she's a heel. So
yeah, she's so over. I think it would be easier to make her just kind of an arrogant face.
Yeah.
Or not
she
even that arrogant,
Cody.
like, because she's legit. Like, it's she can back it up.
But the thing about Jade is she's like, I could be wrong, but I do not remember her ever doing any quote unquote heelish things in the ring. Like, she's just like, she's confident and she knows that she's stronger and possibly better than most people in the roster, and she's confident and she's not afraid to. I mean, she's a competitor, right?
Yeah, that's the
she's
thing.
A wrestler.
Like, she might be a heel, but she's never had to cheat to win. Like, she always wins clean. So
Abaddon versus Luchasaurus.
I mentioned this in the group chat, but I do like that they've gone back to him being like mostly monosyllabic.
You know how WWE has done this several times? I mean, they always do it, but they find like the weirdest combinations and ends up being like the most entertaining thing. Like, Scotty Too Hottie was on the Talk is Jericho podcast, which, by the way, was incredible. If you didn't listen to that episode, go and listen to it. So he was talking about how when he was talking about his time in WWE wrestling, when they paired him up with Rikishi, which was like an odd pairing that ended up being like so fun. And remember, like they did the same thing with Kane and The Rock, which was incredible. And then they paired up Kane with Daniel Bryan, which was amazing. Like, they had all these weird pairings, and on paper it seemed like the stupidest idea, but it ended up being like the most entertaining thing about the show. And I think, like, I'm not saying that they should have these people wrestle as tag teams or being some kind of like major like storyline or feud, but it would be interesting and funny to see someone like Abaddon interact with Luchasaurus backstage with John Silver. Like, do you know how funny that would be, especially if you have John Silver? Like, he would be talking to a zombie and a dinosaur.
I just for some reason I just pictured Luchasaurus trying to talk to Abaddon, and I'm like, that's why I'm cracking up to myself right now. Got one guy just snarling, and then you got Abaddon just trying to like eat his neck or something. I don't know. It would be hilarious for sure.
And then, okay, so you got the zombie, you got the dinosaur, you got John Silver, and then in walks Andrade, El Idolo. You can't understand a damn word this guy says.
Yes!
Oh my god.
I am here to talk to the dinosaur.
Oh my god.
This is what I'm saying. AEW has to have a bit more fun with their show. Now they're giving us like
they do have fun.
I know, like,
yes,
but like,
I mean, that whole opening match, like the match that inspired this main event, did start off with a lot of goofiness.
You talk about the Adam Cole, Britt Baker, Orange
like
Cassidy
almost
match,
a little too much, but then it turned into such a banger of a match that everyone kind of forgot all the indie goofy shit that started it.
Oh my god.
But I love it. Like, I know some people think mixed tag matches are controversial, but like, it's wrestling. Like, just have fun. And it was just fun. It turned into a great match, but like the fun was just as good as the technical greatness. So,
well, I don't think that when you say controversial, you mean when the ladies can actually wrestle the men in the ring. But if it's like usually the way AEW does it is they won't allow.
But for some people,
women...
just the concept of a man and woman being in the ring together is controversial. I mean, those people are dinosaurs.
I just like, I'm thinking about this conversation, and I hope to God we get more of this, and I think we might, because like, you know, I think. See, this is why Britt Baker is the MVP of AEW, because if her teaming up with Adam Cole helps us get more of these crazy mixed tag matches and great storylines, that's a good thing. Because I was on Facebook the other day and I was like, I'm not sure about this whole Britt Baker, them teaming her up with Adam Cole, because is this going to like...
Is it going to turn into a Becky Seth situation?
Yeah, because you also do not want the spotlight to be... Like, I like Adam Cole, but for him to steal her spotlight, like, it's like you have two stars and you can have two great segments when instead you decide to do like one great segment, and she's like in a shadow.
But I didn't feel like they did that. I think they did a good job of definitely letting her shine. I mean, she is the more established star at AEW. I mean, I'm not saying Adam Cole isn't over like Rover, but like, you know, she's been there longer and the fans know it. And I mean, obviously, you know, the producers know it.
The best moment of the match was the near fall. When Orange Cassidy kicked out, and so you get like Adam Cole's reaction because he just hit the Panama Sunrise. I think, or was it a Canadian story? I can't remember. Anyways,
Panama Sunrise.
It's the same.
It's like the same thing almost. Yeah.
Just he comes off the middle rope.
Exactly, but so Orange Cassidy kicks out, and you get the reaction shot of Adam Cole, but then a great work on the switchboard. Whoever you are, cuts to the reaction shot of Britt Baker.
Yeah.
And it's gold. And that's the thing about Britt Baker. We've talked about this in the past. She knows where the camera is, and she knows where to find the camera, and she's always in the right place to do the right reaction, so they get her reaction on camera, and it's gold. And that is why she's like a star. She might not be the best wrestler, but she is a star.
Yeah.
And the only person who can kind of touch her in the women's division is Jade, but that's more because of her physique, not because she's got on the microphone or her acting skills.
I feel like Jade's acting skills have improved a lot, and just like her work in the ring, like she's a lot more confident playing to the audience now too. Like she's really embodied her whole gimmick now. I was just really impressed last night in the Rampage match that she had, which is like the way that she was playing with the audience and everything. Like you can tell she's just having the time of her life. And that resonates with an audience too.
Well, I just wanted to add something too, like with the whole match with like Britt Baker and Adam Cole. Is it me, or like does everyone seem to kick out of the Panama Sunrise?
It's always like that.
Yeah,
it's not. It's not unusual. Like always, it's not It's weird because it's his signature move, but it's not his finisher.
I always thought it was his finisher.
It is a finisher, but it's not actually very effective.
No, it's not very strong. Like that's the impression I'm getting.
It's weird because it's a signature. And I guess you could say it's his finisher, except like he never really wins the match with it.
I mean, like,
so you're not wrong. You're right. Yeah,
because like I feel like because his other signature move is like the Shining Wizard, but I feel like that's more like the finisher than the Panama Sunrise at this point.
He would use that more for a pay-per-view event, like a big match. Yeah. Yeah, like it's not like it's done on purpose.
Okay,
like you know what I mean. I think it's kind of cool, but I mean, look at the American Dragon. Like, what is his finisher in AEW? Like, we're not entirely sure because he always wins a match in a different way. You know, and I thought it was really interesting that Sean Spears gets squashed this week. I forgot to talk about this on the opening spot. I thought that was a good idea. As soon as Sean Spears stepped in the ring, I was like, it's over. Like, I was like, for whatever reason, I thought he's gonna win it right away.
No,
I thought that Punk wins it right away. No, I mean I called it. Like I knew exactly what the outcome would be. And
because we talked about it last week, because you're like, you think he's just going to go in there and get squashed? I was like, yes, that's exactly what I think is going to happen.
Exactly. Like I thought about our conversation as soon as the bell rang. I'm like, it's gonna be a squash match.
I mean,
Mariko. Like, well, especially because they gave him like that big long entrance. I was like, oh, he's getting creamed.
Yeah.
Anyways, I just thought about this because I was thinking about finishing moves and CM Punk's finisher. Like he hits it and it's over.
Yeah.
But it's weird because like in AEW, it's like I feel like it doesn't really matter what the move is. It matters who drops the move, right? So like if Sammy drops because he has the same finisher, usually he'll win, but but sometimes people kick out, right? And like I mean, I think Cody kicked out of it.
Yeah. I mean, but that's Cody. I mean, for me, like that's Cody Rhodes anyway. You kind of expected it at this point.
All right. On that note, I think we're calling it a day.
Yeah, I think so. I'm out of ladies here.
Okay.
I mean, we could continue and say something like Leva Bates and
Peter Avalon.
What is his name again? The librarian dude.
Peter Avalon.
Peter Avalon, yes. Is he still wrestling for AEW?
Oh yeah, he's all over. Actually, yeah, he has a new hairdo. He's all over Dark. He and the Wingmen are like the kings of Dark.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen Leva wrestle in forever and ever. I know she does a lot of backstage stuff though.
Hey, can I ask one last question before we wrap up?
Absolutely.
When does Tony Shavanik turn heel?
You mean he isn't already a heel?
I think he is, eh?
It's entirely possible. I'm not keeping track.
He's so jealous of Adam Cole.
Yeah, the passive aggressiveness is very heely, and I'm here for it.
Yeah, I like how Excalibur like sort of like dug into it a bit too.
Oh yeah, everybody's always needling him about it on commentary. It's great. All right, on that note, I think we're going to call it a day. I want to thank very much everyone for listening. Remember, leave us a review, comment, rating, whatever. We're trying to grow this tiny little podcast family. Speaking of which, I want to thank my co-host, Mr. Aaron Santos.
No problemo.
And of course, the Ravishing Ricky D.
And don't forget, people, you can check out the brand new website for our podcast. It is talkaew.net. And we do also publish written articles. If you want to write for the site, hit us up, send us an email. You can find the contact information over on the website. We do pay. So that's an added bonus. If you want to write about wrestling, hey, hit us up. And you can find the podcast over on, it's everywhere. It's like just talkaew.net. You can listen to us on like Spotify, Amazon, Podbean, Apple. What is Apple? iTunes. Mm-hmm. It's everywhere. Plug in, listen, give us a rating, and that's it. We'll be back next week to talk about Cody Rhodes, of course, and more.
Goodbye.
A little while ago. Hey, go yourself. Get that guy out of here. Piece of shit.
Well, he ain't changed much.
It was a little while ago. I fell asleep on a plane. We landed. I don't even know what city it was in. And when we hit the ground, I woke up out of a dream. It was a bad dream. And I don't remember everything about it, but I remember I was on the side of the road, and I was on my hands and knees in the dirt. My face is bruised and cut up, and there's a black cloud hanging over me. A demon. The kind of demon that follows you around your whole life. The kind of demon that follows you around for years. These demons come in all shapes and sizes for everybody. And this cloud, he's laughing at me. He says, you, everything that you are, everything you become, everything you have in your life is good. None of that was supposed to happen. None of that belongs to you. Where do you get off thinking you were going to make out with all that? And the cloud, this demon, he asked me, he says, do you really think you were going to make it out? The nerve of you, did you really think you were going to make it out? And I woke up before I had a chance to answer him. Nobody gets through life unscathed. We all carry scars. I have more scars on my body than the average person, but those aren't important. The important ones are the scars we carry on the inside that are harder to see. And sometimes we try and cover up these scars. Sometimes we try to pretend these scars aren't there. But those are the scars that we should be proud of. Those are the scars that tell our story. Those are the scars that give us strength. Those are the scars that make us the people we are.